Check this thing out. This is an old Sears Compact. It was a Compact 7. Picked this one up a couple of years ago. My wife sanded it down and put a coat of paint on it, and that was as far as we got with it. I didn't have an engine for it, a running engine, and I just didn't want to put money into an engine for this. But I recently acquired a 10 horsepower Tecumseh sideshaft engine. So I dug this out, and we're gonna set this thing up as a yard machine slash go-kart, because this one has the 4-speed transaxle in it that you can get some really good speed out of this machine. It doesn't take much, just an oversized pulley on the engine, and this thing will do 18 to 20 miles an hour. Alright, this is the start of it. Oh, I have over here, she didn't get to painting the hood. I'm causing shadows and all kinds of stuff here, aren't I? We have the grill, which does not have the mesh in it. She did put paint on that though. And the hood. The hood's still a little messy, but no paint left on it. She got all the paint off of it. So I have to throw some paint on there and put this thing all back together. It is one of the heavy duty machines. It's got a nice cast iron transaxle in there. It has the creeper low gear and then 3 regular forward gears and 1 reverse. It's got the nice heavy hitch plate on the back. Now, I have bigger wheels for the back of this. These are not going to stay on. I want some bigger tires that have more squish to them, so it won't throw me all over the place when I'm driving this thing fast. I got a cat over here behind me. Bill. She's feisty. She likes to play. It's our one-eyed kitty. It has decent brakes on it too. It's got a nice band style over a drum. It's a good size. A lot of these in the past that I've had, the brake drum is only the size of that little bulge right there. They don't last long, especially using them as a go-kart. As you can see, we got lots of meat on that brake band still. Alright, this is the start of the project. I'm going to put some front wheels on this thing and make it so I can roll it around. I used it, kind of moved it around like a hand truck earlier. I had the front end way up in the air and I was just rolling it around to get it over to here. But I'm going to throw some wheels on it and see about getting it inside the garage. Alright, we'll be back. So I want to use this set of tires on that go-kart tractor project. But first, can you see that? I have to drain all the water out of them. Somebody had them filled with water for extra weight. These came off of a Suburban 14, an SS 14 I think. I gotta get all that water out before I can dismount these tires and put them on those skinny rims. It's gonna take a little while. Check it out. I got some tires on there. Those rears were a fight. Those had water in them like I showed you. The ones that were on this tractor that were on those rims also had water in them. Those were a little easier though. They had tubes. Got some front tires on here. I put the grill on it and I put a coat of primer and 1 coat of paint on the hood. That's probably all it's going to get, because this machine is going to get scratched up like crazy and will require a lot of touch up over the years. This is going to be a yard toy. It's got a nice wide stance. Let me back up over here and show you. Look at that. That thing will be good and stable around fast cornering. It's got the nice heavy duty cast iron transaxle. That thing can take a beating, so I can have the wheels way out like that. It's actually not that they're way out, it's just the way that I have them mounted. From the factory they come mounted backwards. Flip them around the right way, and it ends up really wide. They use that same transaxle in a John Deere tractor, and the John Deere tractor had really wide rims but the center of the rim was way out to the outside of the wheel to make it so it was narrow enough. It's a good transaxle though. Good for some high speed, and it'll last. With the 3 lug hubs. For some reason they didn't put all 5 lugs. Alright, that's where I'm at on it right now. I have the engine sitting right over there for it. Nice 10 horse Tecumseh. Gonna be dropping that on there. Because now that we have Andre's Go Kart all up and running, well, mostly. It runs, it drives, it just doesn't stop yet. But I gotta get my Go Kart running too, so we can go out trail riding. So I've made a lot more progress, and as you can see, I decided to add in the wheelie bars. The wheelie bars serve 2 purposes. Obviously they stop you from flipping over, but it also gives a great place to stand on. So if there's somebody driving the tractor, somebody else can stand on that crossbar on the wheelie bars, hang on to either the seat or the driver, and when you drop the clutch, it'll pop the front wheels right up in the air, and it'll stay up in the air as long as that person stays standing on the back. My son and I have done this a ton in the past, and we have had a blast with it. Just standing on the wheelie bars and riding a wheelie for 300 feet. Alright, so I've started putting the engine in place, and I've been removing the snowblower parts, because this had a 110 volt starter for it, and it had all the cover and throttle and kill switch all here on the front of the engine. So all of that has to come off for it to work right on this, so that I can connect it all to the kill switch and the throttle that's in the dash. And I also have to remove these brackets, the pulleys that are on here. That all has to come off. Once I have the engine all stripped down and ready for installation, then I'll figure out the exact placement. I don't think it's going to line up with any of the bolt holes that are in the frame. It might line up with these 2, with that one and the one that's behind it. These 2 are not going to line up with anything. I'm going to have to make some new holes. It's looking pretty good though. It's getting there. It's been a long time waiting. We actually bought this tractor 3 or 4 years ago. About 2 years ago, my wife dug it out, cleaned it all up, and repainted most of it. Actually, I think she repainted, yeah, even the transaxle's painted. She repainted the entire thing. And I've been putting it back together. I got the fenders on it last night. The big tires are on the skinny wheels, so I'll have lots of squish. So I'll have some type of suspension. I have big tires in the front for the same reason, but these I don't want them to be too squishy because I don't want to have a lot of bump steer. I'm still working out the details for a better place to put your feet. This model tractor was the base model, and that's all it came with from the factory. It's just that peg. They didn't even put any kind of rubber sleeve or anything on it. Just a peg with the washer to stop your foot from sliding off the side. So I'm thinking I'm going to end up putting some type of floorboards on here. But I have to wait until I have the belt hooked up to the engine to know where the belt is going to hang down on the other side, so that I know where I can put a cross brace that goes clear across the tractor and hangs from the frame for the floorboards to rest on. And obviously the front of the floorboards, I'll just use those pegs. I do have these here, which I could modify and possibly get these to work. I'm holding the wrong end. It already has the holes in it that'll go over that peg, though I do need to squish it some because I already slid it onto one of them and it's a little bit long. But it has a couple of bolts, studs that are already in the floorboard that I could attach to a piece of angle iron to go across the tractor, hang from the frame. This one goes on the right hand side of the tractor. But what I'm thinking is going to have to cut this off back here, because that came off of a Suburban tractor And that goes with the round fenders, like what's on my tractor. We don't have them on that machine. That machine, I have the square fenders on it. They're not square, but that's what everybody calls them. Alright, I'm going to get back to this engine and getting it all set up to actually work in this machine. I got a bunch more parts I still have to take off of it. Oh, but before we go, let me show you this. See if we can see that. I don't think this engine ran very well when they had it. Can you see that? The carburetor is wiggling at the intake. The bolts are tightened, but the carb is not tight to the intake. I'm wondering, it doesn't look like the original bolts in there. I wonder if that's a shoulder bolt, so that there's not enough threads on it. It might just need a washer behind that nut. Or another washer. It looks like there's a lock washer. It's another nut behind there that'll make the bolts so that there's enough thread to actually tighten it up. I probably should have shut that CB radio off over there. That static is probably being recorded on this camera. Come on down here. Take a peek here. Grab that drop light and shine it. I'll bet you if we shine it under there, we'll be able to see. Oh, yeah. It's almost lined up with this pulley now, with that pulley back there. But what I'm thinking is I have room to get even closer to the engine. If I flip this around, that might even be the size pulley that I want for the front. So I'm going to try taking that pulley off after I get all these guards off. And I'm going to flip it around and put it on the other way. And it may end up going right in line with the drive pulley. Alright, so I put the hood and the grill on it just to make sure I was going to clear the engine before I drill any new holes in that engine plate. Looking pretty good, isn't it? This thing is just going to be a really fun toy. But the hood and the grill both clear pretty well. It's just about touching the top cover with the hood. And the grill is just clearing the very front of the engine. Alright, now it's officially the end of the weekend. And now I'm going to sign off. And I'll get back to this next weekend. Alright, thanks for watching. I'll see you next time.